Well, a big breaking story. Former cabinet minister Sadhu Singh Dharamsot, he has been booked and arrested by the Vigilance Bureau in a case pertaining to Prevention of Corruption Act. This is a case which was basically that was registered by the Forest Department. It was against plundering of the forest wealth by the by the former minister. He has been arrested by the Vigilance Bureau, and also in the FIR is mentioned the name of another minister, Sardar Singh Dharamsot. He has been mentioned in the FIR, but his arrest has not been effected as yet. But another former journalist based in Khanna, he has also been arrested. The Vigilance Bureau claims that he was a sort of a commissioning agent for the minister. So clearly a big story breaking out of Punjab in the morning. I'm joined by my colleague Rajmeet Singh. Yeah. Now Rajmeet is the one who had carried out a series of stories on the plunder of this forest wealth on the outskirts of Chandigarh. He was the one who had carried out stories, reminding us, telling us how these rules were violated by officials, by ministers, and that led to the plundering of this forest wealth. Rajmeet, first let's focus on this case. Yes. Sadhu Singh Dharamsot. What was the case against the minister?
It all started few days back when, FIR was registered against DFO, Divisional Forest Officer, Guraman Singh, right, and a contractor, Hami. So basically they spilled the beans. Basically they were the point persons in the department who were, involved in all wrongdoings, and with the blessings of the minister. Right. So that now, since after the arrest of Guraman, he has already been sent to judicial remand. Now they are moving into phase 2. The vigilance is going very systematic from the investigation so far we have seen. First they arrested Guraman, then they confronted him with Hami, and we have come to know they are in possession of a diary written by Hami in which all the transactions since 2017 when the Congress government took over. Right. He has mentioned the details like how much money he gave to the minister, to the officers, because he is one of the contractors who has been associated in the felling of care trees in forest area. After 5-year permit is given, right, felling permit as per this is a forest management plan under which the permit is given. Right. So he is closely associated with one of the conservator of the forest. His name was mentioned in the earlier FIR, right, Vishal Chauhan. Right. So he spelled the beans. On the basis of that investigation, they have arrested the minister and two former minister and two his middlemen. One is a former scribes, he's a scribe, small-time scribe of some vernacular paper, right, and another was Chamkaur Singh. Right. Chamkaur, it's a very interesting case of Chamkaur. He was a forest ranger. Right. He was close to, because from being Naba, from where the former minister is. So minister brought him as an OSD. Okay. After his retirement. Right. So he would strike the deals with the forest officials regarding the transfers, and they would bring parties. People own private land in the periphery of Chandigarh, especially in Mohali. So they apply for felling of trees. Right. So they would approach these guys. Then they would ask those guys the modus operandi that you tell us who is going to the contractor of you will X the trees. Right. So they would give the contractor, and what the contractor would do, because this is a Mushtarka Malkan. Mushtarka Malkan is basically a joint land where there is no division, no partition. Right. Right. So they would on an average, as per the FIR, permit for 7,000 trees given. So they would fell more than 10,000 trees. Right. And you can imagine the magnitude of the profit. It is 10,000 per tree, 10 to 13,000 per head tree. Right. You can multiply it into crores. Right. So then as in the mentioned in the FIR, he would give 500 rupees to the minister and 100 rupees to the guard, and this is for the legal felling on record. Okay. And they are not talking about the illegal felling. Entire forest area in Jayanti Majri, in periphery of Chandigarh, right from Nada to Mirzapur, even up to Pinjore border, has been ravaged, plundered. You just, if anybody compares the satellite images of the last 10 years, you will be shocked to see, how have they plundered the forest and just greed of money. Right. So basically, this is the modus operandi. Right. And also, Rajmeet, take us through what was the role of Sardar Singh in this, a former forest minister. Now he has been mentioned in the FIR. What was the role of Sardar Singh? See, it was very surprising. When Channi took over for 111 days, right, he was a forest minister. They were in election mode. As per the FIR mentions that he had taken commission in tree guard, some 3 crores or some 6 crore rupees. We are all surprised that in a short while even the corruption was there in the government. But I would mention here, because I was covering the department, he took action against 2 officials named in the FIR, Amit Chauhan. He removed them from there. He tried to, but it was election mode. He did not have much time. So I think the investigations will reveal that, how the role is established of money and everything.
But he's not been arrested?
No, he's not been arrested.
Okay.
Arrested only one former minister.
So what does the bill vigilance say? What allegations have been leveled against Sangat Singh?
The allegations are that as a minister, there are 3 allegations. Is some mining case. He allowed mining in area. Then there is some commission for tree guards. They 6 crore something commission he took. These are the main primary allegation that he gave patronage to the corrupt forest officers. That is allegation.
Okay, and also the government claims it's very serious about weeding out these corruption in these departments. But it's been 3 months now since the government took over. Now suddenly they have woken up to this scam. They're saying that it has been going on for several years now. Now the government doesn't intend to go forward from here and crack down, as you yourself mentioned that it's not just a minister or few officials who would be doing this. Are they going to carry out some kind of a complete scan of the department to ensure
you're
that
more the forest department?
Yes.
See, thing is, this caucus has been working for many years. It is not just it has happened. It started more in 2017 when Dharamsot. It started from transfers, commission and transfer. They increased the bribe from around a few lakhs to 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs, depending on the position. Like, this is very interesting. There are many officers who have been charge sheeted, suspended. They are back at the same post after a few years. If one goes through the track record of the officer, 10 years, they are still there. There have been prosecution requests. They have been charge sheeting requests. Some vigilance cases are pending, still they are there. It's so calibrated that there has some deep cleansing within the department. It is not so easy, basically. And second question you are asking about the narrative about the thing is, this did not start from the government. It all started with the video sting by Colonel Sandhu. Who was the victim, so-called victim of, alleged victim of Gurraman DFO, that he demanded money for, because farmhouse is also an offshoot of this violation. Because the wealthy people,
we'll come to that. First, about if you clarify this, I mean, how the dynamics of this racket, how did they operate? The nexus between the ministers and the officials, how did it happen?
But basically, they are a set of 5 or 7 officers. The Mohali and Ropad are price postings. Because of the cost of land, the Mushtarka Malkan land, there is you make a lot of money from illicit felling of trees, as you told you. Around 7,000 to 50,000 trees are felled every year. So they manipulate papers. Take permit for 1 year, then will leave some tree for next year, 3 years in a cycle, and they will fell more illicit trees. So it is the lure for money, easy money. And through that they would approach the minister and get their benefits done. It's all that caucus which works.
And also, Rajmeet, revisiting some of your stories, you did a series of them. It's basically plundering of this forest wealth right on the outskirts of Chandigarh. While you were carrying your investigations on those, what did you come across? I mean, violation of norms.
Sir, there are 2 things. What is the irony of Punjab? A few years back, the Supreme Court had delisted some forest land, genuine for livelihood of people. So what the forest department or the other department, they made it a den of corruption. They made it a platform for corruption. Under the delisted land, there had to be regulations by government. I would blame the government over the years. They did not define the zoning, the land use, the stories of building. Basically, urbanization, if has to be done in the delisted land, because delisted land falls on the abutting the forest area. And here is lake also, lake issues, there, Sukna Lake, wildlife sanctuary and all. So basically they did not allow, so the grey area allowed the, the forest people and the influential people to, venture into the forest for their leisure and for commercial activities. So the absence of regulations in the delisted area and in the forest area, there are farmhouses which are coming in the forest area also. And they have papers which show this is a delisted, actually they are forest area. Visible forest you can see.
So, but we have to clarify here. I mean, there are certain farmhouses or constructions which have come legally, come up illegally.
Yes.
But without a clear-cut defined, clear-cut guidelines, what forms a forest area and what forms a non-forest area. How difficult is it for the authorities to identify such a racket? And on the other hand, how easy it is for the racketeers, for these ministers and officials to exploit these norms?
Sir, for the forest department, it is a thorough job. It requires a lot of manpower, but it can be done. And second is intent and intention.
Right,
You must understand. The influential people have a lot of black money. So it's become a source of dumping or investing the black money here. If I think in coming days, ED would also be snooping on the investors here, because they are very influential people, and the money has gone into, because they are selling the farmhouse for 70 lakhs to crore rupees, 1 crore, 2 crores. As I had gone and inquired about the cost of. So where is this money came from? Is it in the white? Are the registries being done? Registries cannot be done because this is a common. This land is not mutated. So it is all very thick, scam.
Right.
So there are so many ropes in it.
Right. Also, Rajmeet, if we can digress a little bit, if you talk about the politics behind this, I mean, you have Mr. Raghav Chadha tweeting in the morning that not just their own ministers, they are now going after the former cabinet ministers. It's the policy of the Aam Aadmi Party that they want to root out corruption. The Congress, on the other hand, maintains that this has been done to cover up so-called inefficiency in handling the law and order, as has happened in the case of Mr. Sidhu Moosewala being killed. The Congress putting pressure, the opposition building up pressure. Is there now a politics also building up in this particular case? The opposition saying this is an attempt by the Aam Aadmi Party to divert from the issues.
See, first thing is we must appreciate this aspect that they have acted against the minister. Whatever is the basic information, it has come from video from a third person. Department has not taken an initiative. It is a complaint by a private person. Now it is to be seen. Dharamsot, there is very interesting aspect I must mention. The people mentioned in the FIR are the same set of people who were acting as conduit for Dharamsot in social welfare, SC scholarship scam. Right? So will the Aam Aadmi Party open the Pandora box of the scholarship scam in which Dharamsot was involved, to whom Captain Amrinder Singh gave a clean sheet? Because interestingly, those accused or those named in the FIR close to one of the Rajya Sabha MPs. Nominated by Aam Aadmi Party. So their honesty, integrity, intent will be visible if they widen the perspective. Second, now some ministers, Congress ex-ministers have gone to BJP. Now everyone is watching whether will they, because they have serious allegations against them. ED was involved in one of the cases, and they have a lot of. Will Aam Aadmi Party go after those ministers? Now they are with the BJP. It is yet to be seen.
Okay. Yeah, perhaps interesting element there, as Rajmeet mentioned. Now it remains to be seen. Will it be a selective policy when it comes to targeting alleged corrupt ministers, or whether the Aam Aadmi Party will go after many of them, and also against them who have recently crossed over to BJP, as serious allegations of corruption against them also. Now remains to be seen whether it's just a one-off, or the Aam Aadmi Party is going to open up the gambit of its investigations and focus on other former ministers as well. We'll keep on providing you all the latest updates on this news, and also on various stories related to this environmental impact of the plunder of the forest. That will keep on covering. You can log on to our website, tribuneindia.com, and follow us on our other social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. Meanwhile, thanks for watching.